Hello, I'm Hillary Sloan, and this is Driftwood Conversations. These are conversations about how we live, how we love, and how we grow into ourselves over time. Today I'm speaking with Catherine Auman, a therapist, writer, and longtime student of human connection and spiritual practice. Catherine has spent decades exploring relationships both professionally and personally. From her early years experimenting with feminist performance art in Los Angeles, to her work as a marriage and family therapist, to writing about Tantra and spiritual life. Her path has been one of curiosity, honesty, and persistence. In this conversation, we discuss what it means to learn to love over time, the pressures women face today, the role of friendship in relationships, the idea that life doesn't peak when you're young, but continues to deepen and expand and open. This is a conversation about growth, about intimacy, and about the quiet understanding that we don't arrive, we evolve. Tell me about yourself, what you're doing, what your passion is, and where you live.
Okay, I have lived in Yucca Valley now for a year and a half. My husband and I moved here from Los Angeles, and we are loving it here. I work online as a therapist, so it was a very easy transition. My patients didn't even know I moved. And I'm also an author, so I've really been focusing while I've been here a lot on writing, because there's a very lively writers community here.
What are you writing now? I know you have some books already out.
Well, I'm actually working on a dissertation for my PhD, but I'm also working on, I have a series called the Tantra Mastery Series, which is a series of books which are easy to read about Tantra, which has been a passion of mine for many years. And I also have a book called Guide to Spiritual LA. Just to throw everything in, I'm also working on a memoir from some art that I did when I was in my 20s.
We've spoken before, and you told me a little bit about that art. It sounds very interesting. Tell me about it.
So when I was in my 20s, I moved from Seattle to Los Angeles with some girlfriends, and we were very excited. One of the gals was a painter, and we were all creative people. And we had read about performance art that where women in particular, it was men and women, but we were very excited by the women who were doing this performance art. So we were reading about this. It's actually now having kind of a renaissance, that people are becoming interested in feminist performance artists in the 70s and 80s. One of us got mugged. She was going to work in the morning, and some guy knocked her down and didn't actually want her purse, because he just wanted to seem like he just wanted to beat the crap out of her. And then finally ran off with her purse. And the three of us were trying to process what that was about, what to do about that, because you go to the police and they'll just go, oh, well, that's, we'll write it, we'll take it down, but not necessarily know how to do anything about it. So we decided we went to the Army surplus. We bought some kind of warrior type clothes and painted our faces and went out. We lived on the Venice Boardwalk, and we went out and we just talked to people about, hey, one of us got mugged. What are women supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? What do you think about this? Is that okay with you? What is going on in your community? So we wanted to create a dialogue about culture and gender and safety. And rather than, there's many ways to express yourself as an artist. You could write a piece, you could paint a picture, but we wanted to go out and have this conversation live in the present moment about this event that happened. One of the tenets of performance art is that the performances need to be documented, so I have a whole box of photographs of these events. We ended up doing 6 performances. And so I'm documenting these as a time when we took some action. This was started because I went to a celebration of life, and when they were talking about this fellow who had died, and they said in his youth he had been part of a group called the Karma Bums, named after Jack Kerouac's Dharma Bums. And they were talking about their adventures and how they were this gang of guys just going around and reading poetry and stuff. And I sat there and I thought, women don't share these stories. These men were saying, I'm not blaming these men, I'm very happy for them that they were sharing this, 3 guys getting together. And I thought, I was part of a girl group like that, and we don't really think it's that important. And I thought, I would like to document this, not only because it happened, but so that hopefully some young women can be encouraged that their little collaborative processes with their girlfriends are important and should be documented.
What year did you do that dialogue?
That was in 79 and 80.
There was a lot going on for us then.
There was a lot.
One of the things I noticed with the younger women is that it's such a different time. You have Epstein, you have Me Too. There's such fear. You have political rivalry. We were fighting to get bank accounts. My mother. Mortgages. You know, a right to speak, a right to go to any school you wanted to. Very different time. How is that translating for you now? And what clients do you work with in your practice?
I work with couples a lot. I work with women who are figuring out their lives. I think what's different now is that while there appear to be a lot more opportunities for women, and there are, there's still the glass ceiling, and there's still, what I notice is that there's an unbelievable emphasis on you must be sexy. Even if you're an astronaut or a garbage collector, women have this insane pressure now that it's what's most important. I think it's always been important how we look, but I think it's even harder now. I notice younger women really striving to really feeling this I think it's from social media, just this insane pressure to have to be sexy, number one. More important than their careers or what they have to say, I think. It's been proven. There's research that shows that social media is very bad for women's mental health, young women's mental health. So that's one thing I'm concerned about.
And self-esteem.
So totally their self-esteem.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, think about what's happened with plastic surgery. You know, and how people have remade themselves.
Yeah, it's an option, but it's also becoming an imperative in a way, you know, that we remake ourselves.
Yeah, and then there's the other side, too. There's women that are resisting that are, you know, letting their body be what their body wants to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think I grew up with a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we did in our day. I just think it's intensified now. But yeah, it's always been there.
Well, I was told that I could be a teacher or a wife.
I think they told me I could be a nurse or some other sort of thing. They suggested I not go to college back then. And, you know, I'm getting my PhD now, so there weren't that many options available to women back then.
No, and they told me not to be too smart.
Yes, I felt that for sure. I actually had a man actually tell me that when I was working in the corporate world. He said, part of your problem is that you're too smart. You need to dumb it down because you're intimidating the men.
Well, and some of what's happening is they want to go backwards. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. They're trying to, you know, change the voting laws on women. They're wanting women in the House.
Can you imagine that we would have to see that in our lifetime? It seems impossible.
I know.
It just seems impossible that that's happening.
What was your family like? How did they, well, you said they told you to be a nurse or?
Well, that was in the testing at school. My family was an all-American dysfunctional family. They were both educators, so I really am happy about that because we got exposed to a lot of, well, they took us to art museums and they took us to hear music and they exposed us to lots of interesting things, but they had their own issues. So that actually got me into therapy. to try to heal myself from my childhood, and that's how I found that I really loved the therapeutic process, and that's what I wanted to do for my day job. So I went to school. I found a school that was, we studied psychology, but we also studied alternative forms of psychology, which I was very interested in. So I was interested, at the time people were very interested in Eastern religions and psychedelics and the human potential movement. So I picked a school. I found a school, or it found me, as they say, where we could study that in addition to mainstream psychology.
Where did you go?
It was called John F. Kennedy at the time. It was the only accredited school in what's called transpersonal psychology.
Is that like Pacifica?
Very much so, yeah.
Okay.
Those are very similar schools.
Interesting.
And where I'm going now is California Institute of Integral Studies, which is kind of a sister school to Pacifica.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we're around the same age, probably close, but I remember between Timothy Leary and the Beatles.
Yeah.
Everything was changing.
Everything was changing. And everything's changing again now with AI, and who knows where we'll be in 5 years.
Now, do you also paint or create any other kind of art?
No, writing is my thing.
Writing. Do you do a daily practice?
I wish I could say I did, but it's less than daily. I do nag myself daily to write, if that counts. But I wrote most of my books with 2 hours twice a week.
With 2 hours?
Yeah, I would meet a friend of mine in the library. We met for 10 years, 2 hours twice a week, and I got all my books written that way.
Oh,
now
that's
I'm
great.
working pretty much daily, but it's not every day.
Do you ever feel that it's a struggle?
It's always a struggle. I find writing very hard. In fact, somebody's definition of being a writer is that someone for whom writing is more difficult than it is for most people. I could really relate to that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then what I find is every once in a while, stuff will just come.
Yeah.
And it may come for weeks and months, and then it'll stop.
Then it stops.
And then you're just like, what happened?
What happened?
Do you have a remedy for that? What do you do when you hit I don't even want to call it a writer's block, but a moment?
I usually just let it go. And unless I have a deadline, which I usually don't, I usually just assume that the work has its own intelligence and that it's going to finish when it's time. For example, I like to tell people that it took me 20 years to write my novel. And people think, oh my God, that's terrible. I say, no, actually I had to become the person that I was when I finished it in order to finish it. So I don't think earlier, if I had finished it earlier, it would have turned out right. I couldn't figure out how to finish it, and I feel like it finished at the perfect time. I don't know that, hope that's a little too woo-woo for some people, but that's just how it seems to me, is that these works have their own intelligence, and we finish them when they're ready. We work on them when it's the right time.
I always felt that I was a writer, but I hadn't lived long enough to write my story. And now I can really feel that. It's different. I mean, I did write from time to time in between everything else I picked up to do.
Are you telling your story now? You writing your story?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
I am. There's a book that's been coming. It came out of a dream. I woke up from a dream that told me to recapitulate, and just sat down and wrote, and then all of these small, stories popped up, and I thought, oh, that could be a book. But now I'm still juggling it with time, so I'm not writing every day on that.
Yeah.
I'm writing something. I write for here, for the radio.
That's wonderful. There's so many women I just encourage them, please write a memoir because I want to read it.
I know, it could be very interesting. It is very interesting. Who's your favorite author?
Oh my gosh, that's a hard one. Well, I was a literature major, so I really like the classics. I like James Joyce. I recently read Edith Wharton. It's like the most amazing writer. And I just have at least 100 favorite writers, none of which are coming to me right now. I love Virginia Woolf, and Patti Smith is probably my favorite writer. And Joan Didion.
Oh, definitely.
I just read her books, and I just sit there speechless, because how could you be that good of a writer? I mean, you can't even aspire to be that good. She's just the top.
Yeah, which book did you read?
I read Slouching Towards Bethlehem. I read the one about after her husband died, and I read Play It As It Lays. What's the one with the abortion in it? Is that Play It As It Lays?
That I didn't read, so I'm not sure. But there's Salvador, when because she was also a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
And so she wrote articles, and Slouching Towards Bethlehem is my favorite.
It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
I mean, you're riveted. It just keeps you completely caught.
It's just the way she... See, I'm speechless. I can't say how great a writer she is. I love her.
Yeah, there's so many great books out there. Recently, I wrote something for a literary magazine that's out here, Inlandia.
Oh, I don't know it.
Yeah, you should check out the group. And I wrote about books that took me through different periods of time.
Oh, that's great.
And there were a whole bunch of books when I was traveling, when I was young, and I was traveling through Europe. And, D.H. Lawrence.
Oh, I
and
love him.
I can't think of all the names now, but...
Right. Henry Miller was a big
Henry
influence
Miller.
on me.
Oh, Colette.
Colette.
And each one of them takes you to a different place. It's completely captivating.
Colette and Henry Miller especially were so alive. Just the sensual love of life. Just very 3 or 4 dimensional. Not just reading words on a page, but just feeling so alive when you read their work.
Absolutely. So tell me more about you. What else is important to you?
I found love finally at age 63. Because of my difficult family, I just struggled with love a lot and couldn't really figure out how to do it. I became a licensed marriage and family therapist trying to figure out how to do relationships. And I learned a lot how not to do them. And I kept working on myself and trying to learn more and trying to learn more. And this is my 3rd marriage, and it's just, I found the perfect one. So I also just want your listeners to know, keep trying, because that's what I did. And it's, I guess that happened sort of for you too. You met someone later, right?
Yes, well, I was married when I was younger.
Uh-huh.
35?
Mm-hmm.
And we're best friends.
We're best friends too.
Your
My husband
exes?
No.
Oh, you mean your husband?
I'm good friends with my first ex-husband, not my second one, but yeah.
Yeah, no, my ex and I are very close.
Oh, that's great.
It is great, but we needed to, do different things.
Mm-hmm.
We needed to move.
Mm-hmm.
When you say you worked on it, you worked on yourself? Or?
Yeah, I was in therapy, I read books, I had many different relationships trying to learn how to do it right. I would take classes in how to do relationships. I studied all kinds of things, just trying to get it right. And I know my friends were kind of like, why is she so obsessed with this?
What is the secret to relationships?
Well, I think it's about what you mentioned, which is friendship. We have this strange idea in this culture that the friend zone, I talked to a lot of people who are dating, and they're like, oh, they put me in the friend zone. That's supposed to mean you'd never have sex with them, or you don't find them attractive or something. The Gottmans are like 2 psychologists from Seattle, and they're like the big kahunas in relationship therapy. And they have some popular books, and they say 69% of people in healthy relationships say the friendship is the most important thing. And when I first heard that, I thought, well, men don't think that. Men would probably say sex. No, 69% of men say the friendship is the most important quality in making their relationship work. So why are we not looking for that? Because that's what makes relationships work. So I think the whole dating system here is kind of set up for people not to meet someone where it's going to work, because I know now I prioritize friendship, and my husband and I are best friends and best sexual friends, and I think that's the secret.
I know you've been on a spiritual path for a long time. How does that work into finding a relationship?
Well, I think that you need to find someone who is on the path. I don't think it needs to be the same path as you. I remember seeing a personal ad once that said she was looking for a guy who was on some other path than the bike path, which I thought was funny. So I think that if you're a spiritual person, I think it's important to meet someone else who's at least a spiritual person or respects that you are. I've seen relationships that have trouble where the one person isn't really respectful of the other person's spiritual search, and that doesn't really work.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. Relationships are hard.
They can be. My current one is easy.
Oh,
And
that's terrific.
I think that's because we really cracked that friendship part.
My partner and I live in one room, and we work in one room. And so it gets challenging.
Yeah.
I'm finding that's what's so rich about life.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't judge it, you know, that there are challenges.
Oh, yeah. So I think people have a fantasy that they're going to finally get to a place where there's no more challenges, or they've solved all the problems, and then they can relax. I think it's like, I think that's called dead. I think that we want to welcome that there's more challenges so we can keep growing and learning.
Of course. And then as you get older, there's physical things that happen and world things that happen.
There's
And
definitely world things. Thankfully, I'm not at the physical thing part yet, but I'm kind of pretending that's not going to happen, I think.
well, yeah, hope not. I mean, stay as healthy as you can and keep going. I know it's a little slower. I can't run as fast as I used to.
Yeah. My dad was playing tennis 6 days a week until he was 80. And so I always really admired that and thought, thanks for setting that example. And then when he turned 80, he decided not to do it anymore, and he sat in his chair for the next 12 years of his life. So that really told me, don't stop exercising.
Right.
Don't stop. Because as soon as he stopped, he was chair-bound.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you said he was an educator?
Mm-hmm.
What did he teach?
Math.
What would you describe as the biggest challenge in your life besides relationships?
I think relationships were my biggest challenge. That's what people say makes for a happy life. Most people say that their greatest joy in life was their relationships, their friends, their family. And when you don't have that part of your life working, it's pretty depressing. But so a lot of studies are about what makes people thrive later in life. It's having community and friends. People who isolate when they're older usually don't do as well. Learning how to do relationships was a big challenge, and it's totally paid off.
That's nice. That's great. What would you have told your younger self?
Life's going to get better and better and better as you get older. So don't worry now, because this thing they're telling you that life is best when you're young, it's not true for you. It's probably not true for most people, but if you believe that you have to be successful and have the best years of your life when you're young, that's not true for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And that it would be very surprising to my younger self and many of my younger friends to know that these are the best years of life.
Yeah.
So don't sweat it, because you get to learn and grow and master some of your challenges, like mine were about relationships. You get to advance and make progress, and all of that's worth, and in your work and in your creativity, all of that can get better and better and better. I have an acquaintance who's 81, and she said, I saw her post on social media. She said, I am experiences levels of sensuality and pleasure I never knew were possible at 81. So we don't know. We don't know what the possibilities are.
What I hear from my friends is wisdom, the wisdom we've gained.
It's great, isn't it?
It's fabulous.
Not making all the same mistakes.
I know. And just taking things at face value instead of, why doesn't he love me? Or why can't I do that? Or all those struggles we kind of create with our mind.
Struggles. Or choosing somebody who loves you even, instead of chasing someone that you want that doesn't really care about you,
Oh, that's pretty common.
Making those kind of common mistakes. I think when you're older, you're like, why would I do that?
I know. You wrote a book about spiritual places in LA.
Mm-hmm.
What's the exact name of the?
It's called Guide to Spiritual LA, the Irreverent, the Awake, and the True.
And how did that come about?
Well, I have always kind of been interested in spiritual places that seem to have more spiritual energy, places on the earth. They might be called vortexes, a place that a lot of spiritual activity has happened, like, say, the Holy Land, or people talk about Machu Picchu, or people say Mount Shasta, Mecca, all these places that seem to have a lot of spiritual energy. And when I was in India, there were a lot of places that really had very strong spiritual energy. And I had heard about a couple in LA, and I went and visited them. I thought, wow, this energy is as strong as in India. Nobody knows about these places. And then I started doing more research. Are there more here? And then I started talking to my friends and taking them to these places. And they said, why don't you write this down? I thought, oh, I could do that. I started photographing them. And then there started to be more and more. And then people started telling me more and more and more. And I got really fascinated with it. And I just got really fascinated. And then I came out here to the high desert because I'd heard about the Integratron. And so I researched the Integratron, I researched Desert Christ Park, some of the places around here, went out to Salvation Mountain, took all these photographs, and it just was a really fun project. Took me about 5 years. And this one way I knew my husband and I was perhaps going to work out, because I said to him, do you want to go on a date to go photograph some of these spiritual places? And he said yes. I thought, wow, that's not everybody. So that book turned out, I got a couple of awards, and I think it turned out really nice. I was lucky, and I got a really good book designer for that.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful book.
Thank you.
Do you have a special spiritual place?
Well, I think my home right now is a spiritual place. This home that we found here in Yucca Valley, we feel like it kind of brought us here. We were not even thinking we were thinking maybe we'd move someday, but we couldn't really afford to live in LA anymore. I was taking a break from my schoolwork, and I just started browsing real estate, and I looked out here, and this house popped up. I showed it to my husband and went back to work, and then I came back and said, do you want to go see that house? He said yes. We moved within 1 month.
Wow.
We packed up everything and moved here, and we just felt like it was sort of, I've not talked to other people since I've been here that felt like they were kind of brought here.
I was definitely brought here.
See?
But I was kind of kicking. I wasn't so happy about it. I kept saying, no, desert. No, I'm New York, please.
Yeah. It is kind of a surprise, but now I feel like a lot of the people we've met, the reception has been so warm. We already in a year and a half have more friends here than we had in Los Angeles.
It's an extraordinary group of people.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
creative.
Amazing. Creative, still kicking and having wonderful lives, and very inspiring.
Yeah, I'd say all ages.
Mm-hmm.
They're open, they're doing things. Yeah, it's a great place.
It's great.
I think I've met some of my closest friends here.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but I have some friends that go way back with me, even to the hard times.
From here?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they're in LA or San Francisco or Germany. I have friends all over. Have you gotten to travel a lot?
Pretty much. I spent a year in India. I've been there 4 times. I've been through Europe and been to Brazil. We used to go to Mexico a lot. I hitchhiked across Canada back when hitchhiking didn't seem as shocking as it does now. Traveled all over the United States.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good record there.
Is there a place out of the States that you would go back to?
Well, I still fantasize about going back to the beaches of Goa in India. It's just a little paradise. Just being by the beach. I don't know, it's probably ruined now. I was there 20 years ago, but it's inexpensive, paradise, perfect weather, beach, wonderful Indian food. Where we were, there were creative people, a little creative community, alternative community, spiritual people. It's just great.
When you went to India, you said 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to ashrams or?
Yeah, I lived in the Osho ashram.
Oh, okay. How was that?
It was wonderful. It was a paradise. I was studying meditation and tantra with spiritual seekers from all over the world, and we would meditate together. There were 6 meditations a day, so if you want to do 1 or 3 or 6 or whatever. And it also at the time was the biggest personal and spiritual growth center in the world. It was bigger than Esalen in terms of the numbers of teachers and offerings and so on. So it was everybody who was wanting to grow personally and spiritually and being there together. Very sex positive. People think it was a big orgy, but it was definitely not, because there's the spiritual element. It was a beautiful experience.
Was sex included in some of the spiritual, disciplines of it?
No, it wasn't. It was very pro-sex, but it wasn't going on like in any sort of formal way. I mean, it's just like anywhere else where you have a lot of single people. They may be going off and making love in their apartments, but there wasn't any sort of organized. Even in the Tantra classes, we weren't doing anything that was actually overtly sexual. We were more doing things like sitting with men and women and talking about our fears about the opposite sex and the same sex, or learning some massage techniques, very G-rated, or talking about messages we got about sex from our parents. So people think that the Osho thing was very overtly sexual, and it's very positive sex message, but not licentious particularly.
Did you say you teach tantric yoga? Is it yoga? Tantric?
No, it's just Tantra.
Tantra.
Yeah. Tantra is basically the worldview that everything is sacred. And most of us grew up in a religion where some things are sacred and some things aren't, and mostly the fun things aren't. And sex isn't sacred, and so Tantra is the worldview that everything's sacred. If you really get down to it, if you really are in this present moment, everything's perfect.
How do you teach it? With lecture or meditation?
My husband and I have taught it some lecture, some little exercises for people to do together, such as what I've described, talking about what are your fears. I used to run a tantric dating class for single people, so they could talk about something, because Tantra really has to do with intimacy and getting really close, because the truth is you'll have the best sex if you're really close with your partner. If you're really intimate, you don't have a lot of barriers, and if you think about it, if you're angry at your partner, you really don't want to have great sex. You want to do it when you're feeling close and warm and not having a lot of issues between you. So a lot of tantric work is actually getting rid of those issues that are between you.
There's also, isn't there like an energetic component to it? How the energy moves through your body?
There is in some branches of Tantra. We don't really do those things, but certainly that's for some.
Okay. Yeah, I've just heard about it. I have not practiced it, so I thought that's interesting. I have had experiences with Kundalini where I felt it move through my body.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So sometimes in a sexual experience with a partner, you might have that energy move through your body.
Right.
It's very ecstatic.
What are you planning now? You're writing the book.
Yeah, I'm finishing a couple of books. I'm seeing clients still. I'm going a little bit more into sharing my work publicly. So I've participated in some readings here and have a few coming up.
Where will you be doing them?
I spoke like at the HDA, and we have the book festival coming up, the 29 Palms Book Festival coming up in November. I think it's November. Yeah, we'll see what else comes up.
What about your client work? Is that private? Is it through an institute?
That's a private practice. At the pandemic, I gave up my office and started working online. So I work with clients all over the United States and sometimes in Europe and so on, online. And here in Yucca, I just opened a physical office again if somebody wants to come in. But most people nowadays, it's much easier to do it online, so you don't want to drive across town. But that's available as well.
And what does your husband do? You said he teaches Tantra with you?
Yes, we do that together, and he's a certified coach, life coach. He's doing similar, but has his own way of working with people.
Is he also a writer?
No, he's not. He works a lot with men on if that men have sexual issues also.
And he has a practice set up here?
Yeah, same thing, online, and if someone wants to come see us, we have an office.
What is your deepest hope for this country? Hope we shift, change?
I hope we have a shift and that we get back to principles of kindness. I think kindness has disappeared. I'd like to see kindness, respect, and caring about our fellow humans. I'd like to see us all remember. In the tantric principle, all is sacred, so I'd like us to remember, and I work on this in myself, that this country is for all of us. It's not just for Democrats or Republicans or Christians or this or that. It's all of us. So I work on this in myself to remember that it's for all of us. It's not just for liberals or whomever. And I would like that. I see a lot of people envisioning this country changing to go back the way it was, and I think that the way it was what caused this. So I'm hoping for something better to come out of this.
I do too. Yeah, I don't think going back is the answer at all. I think we have to go forward. And I think this is actually positive that it had to come up. You know, that this was just being pushed down.
Yeah, I think so.
And so it's exploding. And we get to see it.
Yeah.
And
see what we made.
Yeah, now what?
Yeah.
You know, I think community is important. Connection, being kind, everything you've mentioned. You know, everything's sacred. I talk to everything. My partner comes out and goes, "Who are you talking to?" I said, "Oh, the door."
Exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of a funny little ritual I learned years ago, and it works. It's like, "Hello, door. Thank you for opening for me."
And it reminds you that everything's sacred.
It does.
And that's a wonderful worldview to have.
Yes. I think it's also easy here because you're not being surrounded by the noise of an urban city. You know, I mean, I love cities. That was part of my resistance to coming here. I always thought maybe I'd be in Rome, and I love New York. But it is so exquisite to just be in space.
Yes, and for it to be so quiet. I mean, I'm really an urban person, but I've really adjusted to the quiet here. I love it. And I noticed my whole nervous system just slowing down, and that's been really nice.
That's really nice. It seems really important right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, doesn't it?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. I learned a great deal from this conversation about Catherine's journey, how she has navigated her life, and how she understands growth and spiritual development over time. There's something deeply reassuring in what she shared. The idea that we don't have to get it right, that growth continues, that love can arrive later in a different form, often with more clarity, more honesty, and more ease. And her reminder that friendship is at the center of it all. Not just attraction or chemistry, but friendship. Respect, presence, and honesty. It feels like more than relationship advice. It feels like a way of moving through the world, a way of seeing each other, a way of remembering that everything holds meaning and that everything is in some way sacred. If you'd like to learn more about Catherine and her work, you can visit her website at catherineauman.com, and her books are available on Amazon. If this conversation resonated with you, you can find more episodes of Driftwood Conversations on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.